this morning, people all over the country, a lot of people saw this headline over the weekend and began exploring more about it. What happened to a young mom? Her name is Lisa Colagrassi, a dear friend to all of us here at ABC. She's the Channel 7 eyewitness news reporter and anchor here in New York City, who passed away on Friday. She was just 49 years old. She had suffered a sudden brain aneurysm, and we want to look more into this case this morning with our senior medical contributor, Dr. Jen Ashton.
For WABC's Lisa Colagrassi, no story was too tough to tackle.
How dangerous these downed trees can be. There certainly is more information coming out about the moments leading up to that crash.
Over 14 years, Colagrassi was a fixture on New York television.
In Weehawken, Lisa Colagrassi. In Lower Manhattan, Lisa Colagrassi, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And reporting on stories with passion and integrity. But on Thursday, while on her way back to the station after a live shot, the 49-year-old suddenly collapsed, suffering a fatal rupture of a brain aneurysm. Colagrassi is one of the estimated 30,000 people in the United States who have ruptured brain aneurysms every year. Approximately 40% of cases are fatal, and another 25% die within 6 months from complications.
Most people who have a brain aneurysm that ruptures have absolutely no predisposing factors. It just sort of happens out of the blue.
An aneurysm occurs when the wall of a blood vessel becomes weak and balloons outward. If that blood vessel ruptures, hemorrhage occurs, spilling blood into the surrounding brain tissue, which can be deadly. Experts say in rare cases, people with large aneurysms may have symptoms: pain above the eye, vision changes, or paralysis on one side of the face. And with a sudden hemorrhage, will have a severe headache, vomiting, and a loss of consciousness.
And ABC News senior medical contributor Dr. Jennifer Ashton is with us now. And we should just mention everyone at home that ABC and WABC were connected uptown here. And so we would see Lisa in the dining hall, the cafeteria. And she was an incredible reporter, incredible mom. And what was stunning to us is that she's just 49 years old. And so are there any warning signs? It seems so sudden.
That's the question that I'm getting, David, from so many people. The good news is that most aneurysms in the brain don't rupture, and even fewer actually give us symptoms. We heard about some of those symptoms in the piece, but the other question I've been getting a lot of is, well, why don't we detect this? And the reason for that is that in order to screen for an aneurysm in the brain, and by the way, they can occur in any blood vessel pretty much in the body, we need to go through an MRI or a special CAT scan that involves injecting dye into the brain. These tests are expensive, and these are relatively uncommon.
Are some people at higher risk than others for developing aneurysms?
They are, and there's a long list of risk factors. It starts with age, because we know that cerebral aneurysms, or those in the brain, do increase with age, and that can start even as young as age 30. Gender is another one, slightly more common in women versus men than race, more common in African American people. If you have high blood pressure, if you have certain connective tissue disorders, smoking, trauma, there's a long list. But again, it's relatively uncommon for them to rupture.
You talk about high blood pressure and smoking. Are there things you can do to sort of reduce your risks, even if it is sort of...
What we say, David, is control the things that you can control in medicine. You can't pick who your parents are. You can't pick if you have a genetic predisposition. But if you smoke, you can stop. If you have high blood pressure, you can control that. There's no magic bullet when you talk about reducing those risk factors.
As a doctor, what do you think when you hear cases like this one?
Well, first she was a colleague to all of us, so it was tough for us in the ABC family. But my first reaction was actually as a mom, because she has two young boys, close in age to my children, and this story hit home for me, you guys, because I lost my stepmother to a ruptured brain aneurysm in 2004. The only risk factor she had was being a woman and being 63 years old. So.
Thinking about Lisa and all the families that this has happened to who are watching this morning. All right, we're going to get over to Paula now.